Hey, Lance here. We've talked about imaging and soundstage a lot. Um, it can be sometimes kind of hard to demonstrate real three-dimensional imaging, however, because not all audio recordings have that sort of imaging built into them. Most recordings will have a phantom center image, and they'll have some coming out of the right and some coming out of the left. Some audio recordings will expand that soundstage to 90 degrees, 90 to the left, and very few will have sound coming from behind you. But there is an easy way to demonstrate this full three-dimensional imaging, and that is with some of these movie codec demos, like Dolby Atmos and DTS. If you play some of these through your stereo setup, if it's set up right, you have a decent stereo, and you're sitting in the sweet spot, you'll be blown away because you'll hear stuff behind you, to the side of you, all over the place. Now, note that you will not be able to hear this unless you click on the demos that I will list in the description. You won't be able to hear this simply through this YouTube recording because I'm not recording in stereo right now. I'm recording in mono. I mean, if I had a stereo setup to record, you'd get some semblance of it, but the best is to go to the source. So let's take a look at a few of these codec demos and we'll talk through them. So the first one I want you to check out is the TTX Object Emulator by the Charming Geek. This is a codec demo for DTS, and it's quite interesting. Let's hear just a listen real quick. Now that's just the beginning of it, but that actually blows me away. The way they have sound coming from all directions. There's plenty of imaging to my right rear and my left rear. There's lots of imaging to the sides. It's really kind of cool. If we fast forward here, it gets to a section where, well, you can just see this. You'll see. Now, it sounds to me like the ball is moving around the room and behind me and everything. And this is just with 2-channel stereo. This is not with, 5 or 7 or 9 channel surround sound. So it is a good demonstration track to see how well your system is set up. So if your system is set up well, you're going to hear stuff from every direction. It's that simple. This is a good little track. The link is in the description. Let's go take a look at another one. Here's another good test track. It's the 5.1 surround sound test, the helicopter, posted by Ashik Varma. This is a helicopter that flies around the room, and you'll hear it fly around the room. Let's take a listen. Now that effect is fully surround. That's all I can say. It's fully surround. Let's fast forward a little bit to where the helicopter's going, flying. so in all these cases here, it feels like and sounds like the helicopter is zooming right by me or coming from behind and going forward. This is a good little track. Okay, now the first question someone might ask is, but is it as good as 7.1 surround sound? And the answer is no, it's not. I mean, the way stereo works is it's presenting information to you that your brain is processing and creating a perception of what's there based on the sound and even somewhat to the visuals in the case we're here looking at a video. And that is different than if you were to put a speaker behind your right ear and blast something into it. But a lot of people will claim that the stereo imaging of 3D realism from these test tracks are more natural, are much more natural. Whereas when you're doing surround sound, you almost can hear the handoff from a speaker to the speaker to the speaker. Let's take a look at another one. Now this next demo is not a codec demo of DTS or Dolby, but it's a real treat. It's called the Virtual Barbershop Haircut. This one is posted by Beast Music. The Virtual Barbershop is a binaural recording of someone cutting your hair. It has some kind of fun stuff in it. But it can be very realistic. And there's a point in the video where the person in the video pretends to take a plastic bag and stuff it around your head. And it's shocking, the realism that, I've demoed this to many people. And when it gets to this section of the video, they always kind of jump in their chair. So let's take a listen.
If you just hold still for a second, I'll put this bag over your head. Just like that. The bag over the top of the head. And now I'll take the bag off. There we go. The only reason I did that is because all of the fancy barbershops do that.
Now that's fun. I really enjoy that one. Let's look at one more. Audio by The Verge. This is unique because this is done using a binaural recording technique, where there's two microphones placed ear distances apart, usually with a phantom, a head in between them. So it's designed to emulate your actual stereo hearing. Anyway, let's let the guy here describe that for you.
I came across this picture of Tom York, the lead singer, playing piano with this little mannequin head with a hat on and little audio cables coming out the ends of it. And I was like, what is this thing? Luckily, there was an even nerdier person on another Radiohead site who was like, this is a binaural microphone. It's a special type of microphone that has two microphones embedded in the ears, and when played back on headphones, it will sound like Tom York is in the room with you playing piano just for you. This blew my mind. I got extremely into binaural audio. And guess what? Listen to this. This is binaural audio. Right now, if you're wearing headphones, it should sound like you're in New York City. Over here, there should be people walking on the other.
Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. Okay, it certainly just completely opened up. You could hear things from all directions. You could hear the horns of the cars. You could hear all sorts of stuff. But one thing I want to digress on is he said if you're using headphones. And a lot of these codecs and the demos, the virtual barbershop and all of these say, please put headphones on to hear the proper effect. And they do that because your average stereo isn't set up properly and the listener is not sitting in the sweet spot. The answer is you can hear all this stuff with two-channel audio, but you got to have a good imaging system, which means you have to have your speakers set up in basically somewhat of a triangle. It might be a shallow triangle or a longer triangle, but you're kind of sitting in the middle here for that to happen. But the fact that almost all of these demos say wear headphones is indicative of how few people understand that two-channel stereo can fully represent three-dimensional audio. It's also sadly indicative of how many stereos are set up not properly, or people are listening not in the listening position. Test tracks that you can use to test out your system. Remember, you gotta go to the YouTube videos directly. You can't listen to them through this video because I'm not recording in stereo. But if you go to the YouTube source directly and run them through your system, you'll be able to hear some wonderful 3D imaging in Soundstage. Lance here, the Vintage Speaker Audiophile, signing out for today. Thanks. Hit like and subscribe if you found value in this. It really helps the channel.